Good morning, EV lovers. It's Gary back on the case. I know it's been 2 weeks. I just have not got my hands on the car. My wife has had it every day. I'm driving the truck now. I've been driving the truck for the last almost 2 years. So this is the wife's daily driver. In the last video, I noticed, I took it for a drive, that the EV range is terrible. I think we got 20 some kilometers. And today we're going to investigate that. So it's fully charged. The tires have air in them because I just filled them the other week. We're going to hook up the PHEV watchdog app and get some numbers. Then we're going to go for a ride, see how far we go. It's kind of frosty this morning. You can see on the hood of my truck here. So, I mean, it's just below zero. The problem that we're having, as well as getting no kilometers, is that the engine keeps starting. Okay, we should be able to hold the EV button down, start the car. That forces electric mode. We have done videos on this channel right up to minus 37 degrees Celsius. When this car was up to 3 years old, we could take it and drive any conditions and the engine would not start except extreme cold. It would run for a couple of minutes, I guess, to heat up the oil pan is the what we figured was going on, because these cars in North America do have a special ceramic heater in them. We covered all of that. There's 80 videos on my channel, guys. I know this car. I suspect that Mitsubishi has done some kind of software update to this car, and that is why the engine, the last 2 times I took it out, the engine starts within 5 minutes of me leaving the house, and then before I even run out of electric, the engine was starting again. And we're talking 4 or 5 degrees above zero. So why is the engine starting? I don't know. Let's see if we can replicate that today. Let's see what kind of numbers we get on the PHEV Watchdog app today. I always feel like I'm sitting on the floor when I get in here, which I don't understand. My wife is shorter than I am, but she puts the seat as low as it'll go. So she's like just looking, you know, through that space between the steering wheel and the dash. I think that's what she's doing. I'm going to set the camera down because I need 2 hands to try to force EV mode. Let's see what happens when I do that. I'm not going to shut you off. We'll just set you right there, holding the EV button down. What's going on here? I just filled those. Hold on. Okay, so I had to put air in the back rear tire. I guess I've got a tire that's got a slow leak. That's besides the point. Let's move on. I'm going to plug in the app and let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so here we go. We are in the app. I've started live data. The odometer is 67,000. Battery capacity change detected. New capacity, plus 30.1 amp hour, minus 5 amp hours since the last time I ran the app, which was probably a year ago. So here we go. Capacity is at 75% on a full charge, 30.1 amp hours. So I think for today's test, I am just going to try to baby this in town and see what kind of mileage we get. We know that doing a mix with a good portion of highway, doing 70 kilometers an hour, we only got 20 some kilometers. So running at 75% capacity on a 4-year-old PHEV, what can I get in town speeds? You know, 50 kilometers and under kind of thing, you know? Moving traffic, probably going to be around 40 to 50 kilometers. Let's just go drain this battery and see what happens. And as always, with this testing, I'll mention to you guys, I'm not using any heat, okay? If you've seen any of my videos, you know that's how I test. We don't run the heat. That's only going to affect about 10% of our distance. But in this case, when the battery's already at below, you know, acceptable levels, we definitely want to make sure there's no heat on in here. Okay, there we go. 0.3 kilometers into the trip. I literally just pulled out of the driveway. And the engine started. So it's 8:57. Let's just see. I'm going to just sit right here and see how long is the engine going to run. So within 40 seconds here, it stopped charging the battery because the battery's already full. We haven't used any. And now it's going to go through its warm-up cycle, I guess. I don't know. It never used to do this, guys. I know because we did all the testing. We drove this car every day. We took this car out, every day for the first 2 years and did testing on it and tried all of these things. What happens if we do this? What happens if we tow? What happens if we, So while the engine's running, all you techie nerds, there's your voltage. I don't know why it keeps switching screens on me here. 4.054 average voltage. 75.3 is what percentage, our state of charge here, 93.7%. The last time I ran this apparently was February 2021. And we were at 87.7, 35.1 amp hours. So we've lost 5 amp hours. And I think we calculated before, we get about 2 kilometers per amp hour. So we're going to be missing about 12 kilometers from what we get, at that point in time. And the car was 3 years old then. So that's not good news if every year we're going to start losing, I mean, I know the battery needs to be taken in and reset, but there, the engine just shut off. 9:02, so roughly 5 minutes of runtime. 200 yards past the end of my driveway. All right, we're going to start down the highway again. So this is still going to give us an accurate distance, even though it just fully recharged the battery. There was nothing out of it. B0, guys, this is the brake level that I use, and I try to coast as much as I can, and we're going to aim for 50 kilometer an hour average in town. Let's do this. So 12 kilometers might not seem like a lot, but it is. That's every time you charge the car. So sometimes we're charging this car in the middle of the day at the office. So, that could be 24 kilometers a day that we would be traveling in electric that we're just not getting. And the car is only 4 years old. This is what irks me, right? When you buy this, it's presented to the user that you're going to have a 10-year warranty on your battery and that it's going to function the exact same throughout the life of you owning this car. There's no mention of, well, over time, this is what's going to happen. No, you're fully warranted. And I even bought the platinum warranty, which costs extra because none of the electric stuff in the electric car is covered unless you buy the platinum warranty. Who's the hillbilly now? I don't know if Mitsubishi thinks they're dealing with some raccoon skinning, bush-living, bushwhacking, Northern Ontario backwoods hippie. I don't know. I might wear the hat, but we're going to hold them to task. They're going to fix this. Now, in my case, Mitsubishi actually offered to replace this battery at the 2-year mark because we were having, this back and forth. There was a lot of people upset. I was doing testing. I was, showing my numbers. And I said, no, this doesn't make any sense for you guys to replace my battery because there's nothing wrong with the battery. It's the software. Their software has a built-in degradation of 0.01 amp hours, every 2 or 3 weeks. And that's to protect the battery. Okay, fine. If it needs to protect the battery to do that, then you need to disclose all of this in a battery pamphlet to people when they buy this car. You're going to start out at 40 kilometers, and after, 6 years, your car is going to be down to 20 kilometers. This is what honest, forthright companies would do. And, it seems to be dealer dependent. A lot of you guys are saying your dealers are still charging you when you go in and get the battery serviced. My guys here in town know that I was running a YouTube channel, had hundreds of thousands of views. And they said, no, we agree with you that this is ridiculous and we're going to service your battery. And as far as I know, I had other people contact me. They were servicing all PHEV batteries here at North Bay Mitsubishi for free. But then I stopped using this every day, and I don't know Is it going to be a fight? Is it going to be a hassle? You know, I feel it's a hassle either way that I got to keep bringing this in every year and get these procedures done to it. Hey, our low tire pressure sensor light just went off, so it's all good. And the engine just kicked on again. I just happened to be filming that little segment. 9:12. We're saying 22 kilometers still in the battery, and the engine is running again. Second time. All right, I pulled over because I wanted to not screw up our distance test here, and literally the engine shut off, so it ran for about 30 seconds. Okay, you know what? I'm passing Mitsubishi. I'm gonna see if they're open, and I'm gonna go in and talk to these guys this morning. Oh yeah, I'm here, parked at Mitsubishi. I'm going in. We're going to have a chat. I will not film it, but I'll let you know what they say. All right, guys, I am still at Mitsubishi, and the service isn't open today, but I just talked to one of the new sales guys. He actually took over from the guy that I bought my vehicle off of, and I absolutely had a great talk with him. You know what, he owns one of these as well, and he was saying to me, you know what, maybe now is the time to go back to Mitsubishi Japan, and we're not going to mess around with the battery. They'll take this in, take a reading on it. It's showing 75% capacity for charge to 30 amp hours. You know, does that hit their criteria at the 4-year mark? I don't know. They've already offered to replace my battery 2 years ago, and I said, no, that's ridiculous. There was nothing wrong with it. But he's saying, you know what, maybe now's the time we put in that order and we see what they say. And I agree. That is what we're going to do on this vehicle. I am going to try to get a new battery put in here, and I'm going to let you guys know how that goes. How easy is that? How much pushback do I get? You're going to have to take that with a grain of salt, because all of these guys here know that I do videos and that we've had millions of views. So is Gary going to get special treatment? I can't say, guys. I wish I could come in here incognito and see what the system and the process is. I can't do that. They know who I am. I've fought them hard before, you know, complaining about stupid things like the oil changes every 5,000 miles, even though you did 4,500 miles on electric. They know who I am. I just can't get around that. Let's finish this trip. I'll just show you guys how far I do go on electric today, and that'll be the end of this video. And there will be definitely a follow-up, because Gary is going to push for a new battery. And I'm keeping this vehicle because my daughter is 16. She's starting to drive. This is the perfect vehicle for her. It doesn't make sense for me to trade this in and make payments on something that's already paid. If I can get a new battery, that's the route I'm gonna go. Just got in the car, forced EV mode. We're literally 100 yards from Mitsubishi and the engine kicked on again. Frustrating! All right, it's so frustrating, in fact, guys, that I'm not even gonna finish this test, because I'd be pulling over all the time to try to keep the EV numbers real, and I'm just not going to do that. I'm kind of frustrated right now. The engine's been running for 3 minutes here again, and I'm just going to throw the hat in on that, and we're just going to say it's not working. My car is not working the way I want it to. Stay tuned. I will just show you guys, we did 15.2 kilometers, and look at, only 75% of that was managed on electric, and that trip should easily have been done 100% on electric.